All right, how we doing, guys? So I figured we'd try a little voiceover here today, see how this goes. I'm sure I'll probably redo this a million times. Fingers crossed that doesn't happen. But yeah, I just thought I'd follow or have you follow along with the workout that my wife and I did yesterday. So as you can see, I'm just kind of warming up my pushing muscles, so my chest, tricep, shoulders. Before my working sets, have our dog Nala chilling with us, and then Kelsey's on the treadmill warming up before her workout. So I was doing the K-Bogues pull-up program. I realized it was just way too much volume for me with the pull-ups. I mean, I'm used to doing, very, very low volumes. Over the years, I tend to lean towards just a handful of sets, taking to failure per week, and then be good there. So I was just having a hard time recovering, and I'm also trying to lose some weight as well right now. So being in calorie deficit didn't help either. So I'm going to put a pause on that and go back to my lower volume work. Here I'm doing my first set of feet elevated deficit push-ups. Have the weight vest on. I'm not sure how much that weighs, maybe 40 pounds or so. So I'm just going to do 2 sets for this exercise here. That's very common for me. I am going to take everything to failure, just how I really prefer to train. Instead of doing a ton of sets further away from failure, just do a couple sets to failure. Just enjoy it better, and I feel like I get better results from it. So not even counting reps on these. Sometimes I will, and just to make sure I can progress it, right? So, but since this is kind of my first workout back from doing that K-Bogues stuff, I was just kind of going to failure, and then next week I'll, obviously try to beat these reps here. So, set 2 and final set here of this exercise. Again, I'm just trying to go all the way down, get a really nice, big, deep stretch. I could honestly probably slow this down a little bit here if I wanted to, like on the way down, or even on the way up, but this isn't bad. I'm happy with this. As you can see, starts to get really hard there. Not sure if I go for another one. Nope, that was it. So yeah, that was full failure. Gonna be done with that. So again, 2 sets and done. Next exercise is going to be the highest incline possible setting on the adjustable bench that we have at home. And just do kind of a shoulder press, right? So very, very slight incline. It's going to be hitting the front delts, front shoulders really hard, the triceps, and the upper chest for sure. Got the adjustable dumbbells, the heaviest they'll go, 55 pounds. Honestly, I think this is a perfect weight for myself. I'm not quite sure how many reps I get, but I know it's somewhere in that like 10 to 15 reps range. So obviously, yeah, I could go heavier, but I could just slow down the movement as well, do more tempos if I end up getting, stronger at the movement. And, if I can knock out 20 reps with this cadence, then yeah, I'll probably start to slow it down a little bit, but I'm not there yet. 55 pounds with a real crisp form is not easy. You don't need a ton of weight. So yeah, I used to, when I was a lot bigger, and I used to use 100 pounds for these and throw them around, but those are just not my goals anymore. I'm just trying to stimulate the muscles, be safe while doing it. Yeah, so same thing, 2 sets here. So this is my second set. Nala's still chilling on the floor taking a nap. Let me know in the comments, guys. Do you guys work out at home, or do you like to go to the gym? We went to the gym for years and years, but ever since COVID, we started working out at home, and I never looked back. I mean, I've been in the gym just a handful of times since 2020 probably. So that's it. Put those away. So that's 4 sets of pressing movements with 2 different exercises. And then now I'm going to go to a tricep movement, isolation. This is a skull crusher. You can do these on a bench or on the ground. Before we got the adjustable bench, I did these on the ground a lot. But this is just one warm-up set. Obviously, my triceps aren't cold by any means going into this exercise, but I still like to do one quick lighter set just to kind of get accustomed to the movement, get my elbows moving in that direction. So I'm going to do 2 sets here as well. This is my first working set. I think it might be like 35-pound dumbbells here. Ideally, you keep your elbows in as tight as possible. But, as it gets a little heavier and towards failure, they tend to flare out a little bit. That's not, to me, I'm not too worried about it here. So, yeah, complete failure there. As far as rest times, guys, I don't time these. I literally just take as much time in between sets as I need to feel recouped and feel like I can put forth a really good effort on the next set. So, I don't know, it might be anywhere from 2 to 5 minutes probably in between sets sometimes. This is my second and final set of tricep extensions. I love these. I like to alternate these this workout for triceps with also like doing an overhead extension with dumbbells. That's probably what I'll do on Friday. Again, this is my Monday workout. I like to do Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Monday and Fridays are kind of like upper body focused, and then Wednesday in the middle of the week is my lower body focused workout, and that's how I've done it for a long time, and seems to just work really well for me. So 2 sets of bicep curls. I don't even think I did a warm-up set here, so I just kind of jumped into my first working set. The bench is in the same angle as the shoulder presses I did, so as high as it goes, so just a slight decline. Let my arms and my elbows travel behind me a little bit, so it puts more of a stretch on your biceps, specifically like the top end of your biceps where it connects into your shoulder joint, stretches that out more. So yeah, love the adjustable bench. Honestly, we get a lot of good use out of it. It doesn't take up a lot of space. It can even fold up and be put up in a closet if we need to, which is nice. So second and last set here. Again, I could even go slower on these if I wanted to make it harder and use less weight. So a lot of options here. Not really counting reps, just knowing that, hey, I'm just trying to get to failure. I think after this I've got one more movement, and then you'll see some of Kelsey's exercises and workout that she did on this day. So yeah, we got chest, shoulders, triceps, and biceps done. Last movement of the day is going to be some lateral raises. My favorite way to do these is like a rest pause fashion. So use a relatively light weight that you can get for, 12 to 20 reps or so. And just pretty much go to failure on that set. And then just take a couple breaths in between each set after that. So maybe 5-10 seconds at the most, and then you're knocking out 4, 5, 6 reps, a couple breaths, another 4, 5, 6 reps, a couple breaths, and do 3 little mini sets after the big 12 to 20 rep set, if that makes sense. So I call it rest pause training, basically. Really burns out the shoulders. I do find that lateral raises are like one of the most important exercises if you kind of want to have that rounded shoulder look. Some pressing movements like shoulder presses and even chest presses, horizontal presses will help for sure, but those target your front delts a ton. So to really isolate the lateral head, the outside of your shoulders, you're going to want to do some lateral raises for sure. So I do some form of targeted lateral delt exercise twice a week. Normally, again, Mondays and Fridays, I'll do some form of like a lateral raise or maybe a Cuban press, which hits those pretty hard. So yeah, as you can see, I'm just taking literally 2 or 3 breaths in between these small sets here. And what's nice about this is that you're kind of fatigued going into each set because you've already reached failure on that large set, that, every single rep on these small sets are close to failure, right? As opposed to that first set when I did 15 reps, the first 10 were pretty far away from failure. So it cuts down the time a ton and just increases the amount of times you approach failure, as opposed to just doing a set, resting a few minutes, doing another set. So you can do this type of training on pretty much every movement. I wouldn't do it on, big like squats and deadlifts and stuff, but especially isolation movements, rest pause training is awesome, I think. I think this is my last set here. Start to not even be able to get it all the way up, so I just kind of burn them out in that little range of motion there. And that's it, guys. Probably took, I don't know, maybe 30 to 40 minutes at the most there. Now Kelsey's jumping into hers. A lot of times we work out at the same time, actually, and we just kind of alternate. But for like filming purposes, I just got mine out of the way. Then we switch over, and she wanted to get some steps in as well. So that's another thing we were big on, is just daily activity, our step count. Sounds cliche, but honestly, getting 10,000 steps a day consistently every single day for months and years, like that adds up and helps a ton with just general health and, maintaining body weight or losing body weight. So Kelsey and I are both kind of in a phase right now where we're trying to lose some weight. And, it is summer coming up, but we would like our goals right now are to lose some pounds. So we're both, eating in a deficit. We don't track calories anymore. We used to, but now we just kind of follow a different way of eating that helps us out a ton. We actually prefer right now just to kind of keep our fats pretty low, eat a higher carb diet. Obviously, we are vegan. I've been vegan for over 3 years. Kelsey's been vegan for a little over 2, I think, or 2.5. I know she was just vegetarian for like the first 6 months when we started transitioning into a plant-based diet. Whoops, just accidentally took a screenshot. That was weird. All right, we're just doing this one take. Can you believe it, guys? We're actually still in our first take here. But I guess I should have described what Kelsey was doing here. So this is her own workout, I believe. She made it or found it somewhere, so she does her own thing. So I think that's great. She's doing like a front rack squat here, obviously. So just added weight towards the front. It's going to emphasize more tension on her quadriceps. And she kind of did like a giant set. So she had 3 exercises. So she started with that squat, and she went right into these banded glute, like side steps, basically. So really burns out the outside of her glutes, like the glute medius that she's wanting to further develop. Also just going to help with just overall general health and, injury resilience too. I mean, this is a great exercise to do. And then her third exercise in this little giant set was a hip thrust. I think that little barbell weighs like 25 pounds, but even if you did this with just body weight, if you really squeeze your glutes at the top, these are difficult for sure. And you could even do these one-legged too, with one leg completely straight out in the air. That's hard as well. That's another way to make this exercise harder. You definitely don't need to bloat up 300 pounds on hip thrust to get results from them, for sure. And she did 3 rounds of that. So the squat into the banded side step into the hip thrust, and then she would take a break and do it again. She did 3 rounds. And then I believe this is also going to be another type of giant set where she does 3 different exercises. Starts with like a seated lateral raise here. I really love these adjustable dumbbells by Nordic Track that we've had forever, because they even allow you to do weights in increments of, I think, 2.5 actually, because the plates can come out. So yeah, really enjoy these. Yeah, so she went straight from lateral raises into an alternating dumbbell curl here. At this point, I'm kind of just yapping so I don't have to put music in between all the talking points. But she also is doing, I believe, Monday, Wednesday, Friday workouts. And then obviously just getting as much activity and steps as she can throughout the, every day basically. On the weekends, we really try to go for longer walks, and sometimes we'll get up to 15 or more thousand steps a day. Let me know in the comments, guys. Let us know if you're interested in like seeing what we eat, maybe. Honestly, yeah, I would like these videos to be like entertainment purposes too, because I love watching YouTube workouts, but I also would love them to be some source of like information and helpfulness for anybody out there that's looking to maybe work out from home, or is already a vegan, or is trying to transition into more of a vegan diet. But as you can see there, she went from the curls to the standing shoulder press and took a break, and then she's going to do that 2 more times, I believe. So again, lateral raises into curls into a standing shoulder press. Again, if anybody's interested in kind of seeing how we eat, we could definitely do a video about that. It's definitely a lot different than I used to eat. I mean, shoot, just 5 or so years ago, I was the guy that would eat tons of meat, and and the protein was super high. But now with my goals being changed, and also the reasonings that I have for being vegan, there's just no need for all that protein anymore. So both Kelsey and I don't really eat a ton of protein by normal standards that a lot of people would think, and I've just found that you really don't need that much. You need a certain amount, but not as much as we all tend to think, or have been told, or have seen online. To me, if you're trying to maintain or even build muscle, the training, the resistance training, is what is gonna cause that. You gotta give your muscles a stimulus in order to grow, and the stimulus is not just eating protein. Have just enough to be able to recover from your workouts, which doesn't take much, and then that's it. Sleep well, stay hydrated, and just do that. Month in, month out, year in, year out. So as you can see, she's actually doing some lateral raises here with a little bit lighter weight than the lightest dumbbell goes. So she was able to just take out the plates that are inside the dumbbells and utilize that as a weight to do her lateral raises, which is pretty cool. I think this is her 3rd and final round of these. As far as equipment goes, guys, we have that adjustable dumbbell. Oh, sorry, the adjustable bench, which I think we got for like $80 off Amazon. It's been great. And then the adjustable dumbbells we got from Dick's Sporting Goods for like $300 like 5 years ago. Been loving those. And then we've got a pull-up bar, or kind of a pull-up handles, I should say, because I like to use the J-Flex pull-up handles that allow for neutral grips and a couple different grip options. Kelsey likes to use that 25-pound bar for a few exercises, like the hip thrusts, and that's really it for resistance training purposes. And then you can do a lot of stuff just body weight. Oh, and I have those parallel bars you saw me do the push-ups on. My dad and I built those years ago. Been very handy just to allow for a bigger stretch in the push-up positions. But you definitely don't have to have that. And then this is her last thing of the day. I think she does 2 sets of these. It's kind of a squat into a shoulder press. I guess some people might call them like a thruster per se. I think that's kind of like a CrossFit movement that's pretty common. But again, just to work her quads, her glutes more into her shoulders, and also get her heart rate up, right? So she doesn't really do any running or anything at a higher intensity. So this really helps get her heart rate up a few days a week. So yeah, it counts as resistance training, but I would say, these last 2 exercise, or this one exercise that she does 2 sets of, is really for her cardiovascular health, honestly. That's it, guys. I can't believe I talked this whole time. Leave us a like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.